Alright, troops, here we are in Chapter 5, talking about key signatures. Alright, let's get started. Here we have an example of America the Beautiful. Alright, let's look down in here. It talks about sharps and flats are usually not written next to every note which is played sharp or flat. Instead, these sharps and flats are indicated by a key signature. Key signature is a group of sharps or flats at the beginning of the staff, which indicates the notes which are to be played sharp or flat in the following music. Okay? So if you look up here, it tells you the key signature is this right here. These three sharps here, that's your key signature. Okay? That indicates that any note that is F, C, or G is going to be sharped. Alright? Now, if you look at this example down here, it shows you what it would look like if they wrote all the sharps in, okay? So every C is sharped, okay? Every F is sharped, every G is sharped. Now the key signature, F, C, and G, sharp, apply to any F, C, or G, whether it's a high one or a low one, doesn't matter. Any F, C, or G is going to be sharped. Alright, okay, let's move on, shall we? Whoops. Here we go. Here in this example, you're going to draw flats to the left of notes which are to be played flat according to the key signature, okay? So, simply find the notes that are B, E, and A, and then put a flat next to them, okay? So, you know, this note here, which is B, is going to be flat. Here's going to be flat. Then you have two G's, another B, you have to make flat. You don't necessarily need to put that flat in there because you already have a flat in here, but you can still write it in there, and that will be useful later on. Here's another B flat. Oh, A flat, B flat again, and one more B flat there at the end. Okay? Pretty easy to do. I think you won't have any issues, okay? Let's move on. Here we go. Number of sharps and flats in each key, okay? Now, this should be easy. We're just going to skip down to the diagram so I can show you. If you start, we've discussed this, over here on the sharp side, key of G, giant dogs always eat before furry cats, you're going to add a sharp each time you go through. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharps, okay? Exact same thing happens on the flat side. You know, you have 5 big elephants are dragging garbage cans, and you have 1 flat, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, alright? So on each side of the circle, you're going to start your sharps on one side, flat on the other. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go. How do you find out what key you're in? Alright, a key signature, you know, this entire page is filled with key signatures. You know, each one of these key signatures has a different name, okay, which gives us our keynote. How do you figure out what that is? Well, if you think about this one here, 1 sharp, F sharp, you could go back to the circle, right? And what would happen if we did? We go back to the circle up here, find 1 sharp. Where's 1 sharp? Right here. Oh, that's the key of G, right? So that key signature, 1 sharp, is the key of G. Now, do you have to refer back to the circle each time? No, you don't. You can simply say your sharp or flat phrase to go along with each key signature, okay? So, sharps, giant dogs always eat before furry cats. Flats, 5 big elephants are dragging garbage cans. Now, there's only 1 sharp here, so in our saying giant dogs always eat before furry cats, you'd only use the first word, which is giant, which means that's the key of G, okay? This one, giant dogs always eat, this would be the key of E, right? And you could, like this one over here with more sharps, giant dogs always eat before furry, that's going to be the key of F sharp, okay, 6 sharps. And then on the flats, 5 big elephants, that's E flat major. 5 big elephants are dragging, that's D flat. Here there's only one flat, this one's going to be 5, so you can just put an F in there, okay? Alright, now, down here, how many sharps are there in the key of B? Well, all you'd have to do is think to yourself, giant dogs always eat before. B is the 5th one, so there's going to be 5 sharps, okay? And you can do the same thing with flats. Let's move on. Oh, here's another trick. If you look at the second to last flat, that tells you your answer. Here, the second to last flat is D flat. This is D flat. Here, the second to last flat is B flat, so your key is B flat. Okay? In sharps, it's very interesting. You take the last sharp and go a half step up. So this is a D sharp. On the keyboard, if you go up 1/2 step, it's E. Here, the last sharp is F sharp. What's 1/2 step above F sharp? G. Okay? Here, E sharp. Now this one's tricky. E sharp looks like F. If you go a half step above F, that's F sharp. Okay? So that's how you can do that with sharps and flats. A different way to do it. Always good to know multiple ways to do it. Okay? Here we go. This is the money right here. Okay? Talking about writing scales. Okay? They give you the key signature, which is very kind of them. Now what do? Well, simply look at the key signature, figure out what your keynote is. You know, here's flats, 5 big elephants. So our key is E flat. Okay? So that's the note we're going to start on. Write the scale. Oops, this is a little difficult. Whoops. Hold on, let me undo some of those. I'll just come down to this next one. So let's look at this next one, shall we? Key of G, giant, right? This is only one sharp, giant, key of G. Draw your scale. G to G. And then you're going to insert this one sharp into the scale. That's going to be F sharp. Put it in there, and you're done. Do that for each one. Find the keynote, right? This one's G, this one's E, this one's A flat. Those are your keynotes, right? Figure out what the key is, start on that note, and then insert the sharps or flats that they give you. Alright, let's move on. The order of sharps. Now, there is an order every time, okay? Each time you do the order of sharps, or the order of flats, you do it the same way each time. The trick is just to think about the circle of fifths, okay? Now, if you look at this diagram, which is very handy, you will notice that it shows you the order of sharps going this way, okay? Now, for some reason, they started over here in F. Why would they do that? Well, if you look over here, here's the order of sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Now, you could memorize it, or you could look at this, start in F, go to B, right? Because there's 7 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And that's your order of sharps, okay? So here in the key of G, there's 1 sharp. It has to be F sharp, because that's the first sharp. Here in the key of D, there's going to be F sharp and C sharp, because you always have to start with F sharp, right? F sharp, C sharp. Here in A, you're going to have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Here in the key of E, which is 4 sharps, you're going to have F, C, G, and D, so on and so forth until you get over to here to C sharp, which has F, C, G, D, A, E, and B sharp. Cool? In flats, it's the exact opposite. Same pattern, but you have to start on the other side, right? We started over here on sharp, so it went this way. Flats, you have to start over here and go backwards, okay? B, E, A, D, G, C, F, okay? So here, starting in the key of F, 1 flat has to be B flat. Here in the key of B flat, where you have 2 flats, you're going to have B flat, E flat. In the key of E flat, which has 3 flats, you're going to have B flat, E flat, A flat, so on and so forth, until you get all the way around to C flat, which has all 7 flats: B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, F flat. Alright, okay, let's move on. Here it talks about how to write sharps and flats. Very important that you take a look at this. This doesn't change. Okay, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay, if you're not sure how to do it, then always refer back to a page that has it on there. Okay, this is a great page to remember. It shows you where to go. Okay, and then it kind of shows you a little bit of tricks to remember how to do it. Okay, down here we're going to be writing key signatures. Okay, of course we remember that 1 sharp, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 sharps over here, right? Over here, 1 flat, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 flats, okay? So fill in the keys. Here's C, and then you go giant dogs, and here's 5 big elephants, okay? And then you're going to fill in the key signature of 1 sharp, 2 sharp, 3 sharp, 4 sharp, referring back, if you need to this diagram up here, okay? Which is great for sharps and flats. You're going to be doing the exact same thing down here, except you're going to be doing it in bass clef. A little bit different because the lines and spaces aren't exactly lined up, but it's the same pattern. F, C, G, D, A, E, B, B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Sharps are still over here, flats are still over here, and you get it done, you're good to go. Okay, this page here, very interesting. We've already pretty much done it a few pages ago, where they gave you a key signature and then they had you draw the scale. This time they're going to give you the key note. You have to draw the key signature and then the scale. Alright, so let's find a good one. Here in the key of F, right over here, and the key of F has 1 flat, which is B flat. You draw your key signature and then you draw your notes. F to F. There you go. Then you're going to insert that B flat into the key signature right there where B is. Okay? That's all there is to it. You're going to do it for every single one. Do not forget, excuse me, to fill in this little helpful diagram. It's your own little circle of fifths. Okay? Giant dogs, 5 big elephants. Okay? Then it reminds you how the order of sharps goes in this little area over here. Okay, so if you remember, this is F, this is B, so over from here, that's going to be your flats, and then here, it's going to be your sharps, okay? And it tells you how to do that if you need to, okay? Remember how to do that, you should be good to go. Otherwise, if you need to refer back to some information in this video, great. If not, you can ask me in class. Groovy. Good work.